Hello everybody, this is Money Mom. Welcome back to the channel. It's Saturday, which usually I talk about something organizing or cleaning. And today I'm going to talk about the 6 tips of what to do if you're married to a pack rat. Let's get started. I got married in my 20s. My husband and I are very different when it comes to cleaning and organizing, just like many couples. Some people are more into having less stuff and they like things a cleaner environment. Some people are a little more laid back about that. Well, how do you get along without squabbling about your space? That's important. So you have to come up with some ground rules, and I wrote out 6, and I feel like they've been very successful in our home. The big thing, and I'm going to put this video below, the number one thing is communicate with them about what areas their stuff goes. For example, many guys or women like to have their own space, a woman's cave, a man cave as you would say, and that's their space where they can have their things. So designate areas for that person's stuff so that you don't have, say if somebody collects books and you're like, you know what, we don't have space on the bookshelf. You've designated areas where their stuff goes and you communicate that with them. That's what we do in our home. We have spaces where my husband's things go, and that way they're not in my spaces. So that's number 1. Number 2, set up a rule where if something is getting overwhelming, like you have too many movies, too many books, that's just an example, that you talk to your spouse about it and just ask them, hey, we've got a lot here. We don't have any more space on the shelf for it. Is there anything you're willing to get rid of? That is very important, because otherwise it's just going to get overwhelming and go into other spaces. So I kind of have a rule where if you're going to bring another book or movie in here, into this house, that's fine, but you got to get rid of something so that we have a space for it. And I just reorganized our bookshelves, and if anybody brings in another book, that's fine, but you have to get rid of something in order to make space for that book. That's number 2. Number 3, this is the most important out of all of them, and I'm going to see if I can find the video on this. My husband and I put down here, organize and label together. This is, I think, the best advice. And actually, my husband was such a good help about this. We did our back laundry room, which seems to be the hub for many areas in the house. One thing that we find frustrating, you can be the neatest, cleanest person in the world and still not know where things are. How is that going to help you if you have this clean, neat environment, yet you can't find anything? And I know of people that have had that happen. It looks all pretty. You want it to be functional. So my husband and I did the back laundry room together. We came up with an agreement about where we thought some things should go, and we labeled them, and we went over them together. So if he's kind of a pack rat, you're not, or she's a pack rat, he's not, label the items together, organize it together so that you're both on the same page and you know where stuff is. That's number 3. Number 4, designate a home for very important things, whether it's paperwork, like a warranty, or it could be anything, flashlights, batteries. I'm just naming a couple things out there. Things that you have to know where they're at. Have an area where every family member knows where it is and label it. And usually what I actually did is I put something on my back refrigerator. I wrote down the important items on a piece of paper, and there's just a handful of them. And then behind that, I wrote where that item is. So if someone's like, oh my gosh, where did Mom put the flashlights? They could go to my back refrigerator, look at the piece of paper on the refrigerator, say flashlights. Oh, okay, they're up by the cookbooks. And you're going, by the cookbooks. Anyway, so that would be another example right there. If you're overwhelmed with something, make sure to let your spouse know about it and talk about it briefly and come up with a game plan that you both can agree on. That's really, really important, because you want to be respectful of the other person's space. I feel also that. One other last thing I put down for number 6 is to declutter your own stuff. I just did this today, as a matter of fact. I went through some of my clothes, took them out of the drawer. I freed up some space that I just wasn't wearing anymore, and I put them in the donation box. So even if your spouse isn't decluttering, it doesn't mean you can't, because even if you declutter and get rid of things you're not using and donate or sell them, it still makes the home a neater, more organized place. Let me know if you guys have any tips. Are any of you pack rats and your spouse isn't, or vice versa? And do you have any helpful tips that have helped your family? I want to hear about it. This is Money Mom signing off, and I love you. Bye-bye.